Auspicious greetings to all. Welcome to the Shan English Dharma Services channel. I'm Hui Cheng from Shan Monastery, and today we will be reflecting on the meaning of faith and looking at faith from different perspectives. In the 21st century, the word faith has become a much discussed word. In the turbulent times we find ourselves in, people are more than ever finding themselves in a moral and psychological vacuum, where the mind-boggling speed of advancement in knowledge, science, and technology, and overall material abundance have failed to address the spiritual well-being of humanity. To this end, humans have resorted to seeking the truth of life. This seeking of truth is inspired by the congenital survival mechanism of seeking freedom from suffering and searching for happiness and inner peace. Due to our differences in socio-cultural inclinations, our understanding of truth varies considerably. And along our journey of discovering this truth, the definition of truth yet again undergoes transformation. However, what drives us to continue this journey of truth-seeking is faith. The truth that we provisionally hold trust in is our object of faith. Without faith, we lack the motivation to continue our journey of truth-seeking. Likewise, the nature of truth that we hold true to determines the outcome of such truth-seeking. As such, having the right approach to faith and having faith in a truth that ultimately serves the end of liberation from suffering and attainment of happiness is paramount. It is hoped that during this session, we may reflect on our own personal understanding of faith. Whenever we speak of faith, what usually comes to mind is religion. It is important to understand that faith is entire trust and confidence in something or someone, whereas religion is a specific socio-cultural system of designated behaviors, practices, worship, morals, beliefs, worldviews, text, sanctified places, or organizations, sometimes encompassing a code of ethics and philosophy that relates humanity to the truth or a higher being. The two terms, faith and religion, are often complementary in practice, though either could be lacking in our quest for seeking the truth. Having faith does not automatically equate to belief in a religion, and being religious does not guarantee that faith is present. It is becoming more and more commonplace for people to identify with a certain religion and perhaps even follow the customs and behaviors of the religion while having faith in one's own constructed worldview and life philosophy, sometimes quite different from one's religion. Perhaps it may help to put the definitions of faith and religion side by side to highlight the differences and relationship between the two terms. As for faith, it is complete trust and confidence in something or someone. As for religion, it is a specific system of belief and worship. As for faith, it is an inner emotion, whereas with religion, it is an external practice or expression. Faith is the cornerstone of religion, and religion cannot exist and spread without faith. Whereas one may be brought up in a religious household, one's faith in a religion is based on one's personal experience of it. And whether faith is present comes down to internal mechanisms. When we are inspired to place faith in a religion, then faith is established. Without faith, religious praxis becomes mechanical and most likely for the sake of social conformity. To reap the desired outcomes of religious practice, one needs to invest both mind and manner. As such, only when one has established faith in one's religious practice may it be truly rewarding. The most ideal religion is one of correct faith, which is subject to a few conditions. First, does the object of your faith have historical or factual significance? Second, is it moral and compassionate? Third, can the object of your faith assist others in need? Fourth, does it assist in the purification of one's character? To put it in another way, faith should be placed in figures who are compassionate, moral, wise, and capable characters. Faith should be placed in one who can truly assist us in overcoming afflictions and transcending perpetual suffering. Then and only then is the object of faith deserving of our trust. Western Buddhists, who view Buddhism not as a religion, but as a way of life, often feel uneasy about the term faith. Faith has come to denote a steadfast and unwavering embrace of dogma in a religious context. This is often due to the complex origins of the word religion and the lack of consensus as to how religion is defined. Modern research explains the etymological Latin root religio, referring to general social obligations towards family, neighbors, rulers, and even in some cases, toward God. Though in ancient Rome, the term is referred to obligation to gods, not based on faith, but rather on knowledge of correct practice. Modern Western renderings of the term religion lean toward belief and worship of a personal God or gods as superhuman controlling powers. In response, modern scholarship warns of maintaining a Judeo-Christian and Western bias in the definition and study of a religion of Eastern origin. Buddhism neither requires followers to worship Buddha, nor is it a revealed religion whereby the truth revealed is unverifiable by the common person. Rather, the Buddha refers to his teachings as ehipassiko, which means come and see for yourself. The teachings, or Dharma in the original Sanskrit, themselves are the tried and proven path towards liberation from suffering and ultimate peace taken by the Buddha himself. And as such, the Dharma needs to be experienced personally and seen by one's inherent wisdom for it to be of spiritual benefit. Buddhist sutras remind us not to accept any teaching, including the Buddha's, without first evaluating and examining it for ourselves. However, one should cautiously examine the reliability of one's judgment in personally verifying the teachings. As we investigate the Dharma with our own reason and intelligence, we may lack the omniscient knowledge and wisdom required to appreciate the fullness and breadth of the Dharma. And as such, it is easy for us to become overly skeptical, and this itself becomes a great hindrance to our progress on our spiritual path. To overcome this obstacle to practice, a certain degree of faith based on trust in the validity of the Dharma needs to be present. The Buddha mentions in many sutras the importance of establishing Shraddha, or faith, in our learning and practice of the Dharma. Shraddha can also mean trust, confidence, or fidelity. The cultivation of Shraddha is especially important during the early stages of Buddhist practice. When we first start getting into Buddhism, we may come across teachings that initially seem counterintuitive to how we see ourselves and the world. Reminding ourselves that even the Buddha warned us against blind faith, we may reject the teachings even before we afford ourselves the opportunity to understand them. For many, since the teachings do not conform with one's existing worldviews, at best, one considers the teachings superfluous and at worst, erroneous. According to Buddhism, however, our perceptions of ourselves and our lives are delusory. As such, refusing to consider a different perspective on reality means the adventure is well over before it even begins. As such, a true learner of Buddhism does not give in to blind faith. However, he or she provisionally, albeit willingly, takes on the Buddhist worldview of reality with the understanding that one cannot yet personally verify such worldview at the current stage of one's spiritual development. Though, once we start verifying aspects of such worldview within the scope of ordinary everyday experiences, we establish faith in the Dharma that transcends our ordinary experiences. Such faith, if viewed from this perspective, is faith based on reason. As further clarification, the approach of provisionally taking on the Buddhist worldview in a scientific manner based on the expectation of verifying the Dharma as an outcome is insufficient for a Buddhist. This approach is likened to engaging in a scientific experiment whereby the outcome of the hypothesis ultimately has no direct personal bearing on the scientist. And likewise, the conditions and variables of the experiment may be altered without hesitation as the scientist discovers possibilities of fallacies in the hypothesis. When we set out to learn about Buddhism, we cannot rely purely on objective inquiry, for the psychophysical factors of our subjective world experience are the variables and conditions of said experiment. And everything we do bears psychological and moral consequences. As such, walking the Buddhist path is dearly a personal affair. Moreover, whether we have faith in this hypothesis afforded by the Dharma has far-reaching implications on the outcome of our journey of verifying the Dharma. From the Buddhist perspective, initial faith in the Dharma aligns our hearts and minds with the wisdom of the Dharma in a conventional sense and allows us to develop this mental equipoise required for insightful wisdom to develop. Without this insightful wisdom, we are unable to personally verify the Dharma through common experience, let alone develop sustained faith to push us further in our journey of verifying the unconditional aspects of the Dharma. In addition, Venerable Master Xing Yun explains that it makes no difference to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas whether one believes in them or not. They have nothing to gain or lose. However, it is a pity if a person does not believe in their own ability to comprehend reality's truth. Lack of self-belief causes self-doubt in one's competence, knowledge, and comprehension. As Nagarjuna, the great Bodhisattva, reminds, one identifies with the Dharma by faith, but one actually knows through understanding. Understanding is the principle of the two, yet faith comes first. If there is only one thing you may have, what would that be? Whatever comes to mind first, that is your truth. Most people are trying to find the truth of life, though everyone seeks this truth differently. However, it can be generalized that the fundamental reason for seeking truth is to leave suffering behind for happiness. Many truths have been taught since time immemorial. However, not all truths lead to the eternal transcendence from suffering. Fortunately, there are guidelines in determining whether a truth serves the purpose of offering one true freedom from suffering. So long as truth answers the following questions, then that truth leads to the goal of true and sustained joy free from dissatisfaction. Is it universal? Does the truth apply to all sentient beings without exception? Is it inevitable? Are the causal aspects of the truth bound to occur without exception? Is it equal? Does the truth apply to all sentient beings, irrespective of belief or non-belief in the truth? Is it original? Does the truth exist from beginningless time and even without a religious leader or founder expounding the said truth? Is it transcendental? Does the truth empower us to eternally overturn and overcome internal and external sufferings without relying on external forces? Is it realizable? Are the truths potentially realizable by all sentient beings? These are questions that we need to ask ourselves as we try to verify our faith. The overarching goal of a Buddhist is to transform and transcend the deluded mind so that one may be awakened to the truth of the universe and be free ultimately from sufferings of sentient life. Those who aspire towards the Bodhisattva path takes things further and vows to liberate all sentient beings in a similar way one is self-liberated. To this end, the Buddha has left a legacy, the tried and proven path that aligns one's worldview to that which leads to the truth, and that which guides one's actions of body, speech, and mind toward the accumulation of merit and wisdom necessary as a means to the end. However, it is practically impossible for one to progress on the Buddhist path without getting lost in our own lack of understanding and erroneous views and practices. Just like a patient who has a serious illness cannot cure him or herself, he or she needs to be admitted to a healthcare facility to seek the help of a doctor to diagnose the illness and prescribe medication and a treatment plan. The patient then requires nurses to administer the treatment plan, monitor recovery, and give self-care guidance. Without the doctor, the medication, and the nurses, this patient is unable to be cured. Similarly, according to a Buddhist analogy, the Buddha is the doctor, the medication is the Dharma, and the Sangha are the nurses. Buddhists take the fully enlightened Buddha as their teacher and spiritual guide, the Dharma as the path of practice to remedy the sources of suffering, and the Sangha, or the community of noble disciples, as their mentor and guide. As one learns the Dharma as taught by the Buddha, contemplates on it and practices it, one slowly aligns one's mind to wholesomeness, and positive incremental outcomes are experienced. As such, one is further inspired to strive towards the ultimate goal of transcending suffering and entering the state of sustained joy. As such, Buddhist faith not only aids one in entering the vast ocean of the Dharma, it also provides sustained motivation for progress along one's spiritual path. However, without learning the Dharma in the first place, it would be highly unlikely for us to self-realize the truths contained in the Dharma. Simply put, without the Buddha teaching us the Dharma, we would not be able to develop the correct mindset and attitude that gives rise to insightful wisdom. And as such, we commit ourselves to the Dharma. The Buddha's teachings are just as relevant today as it was 2,500 years ago, as it deals specifically with the core of the human condition. And the teachings are timeless as they apply universally to people of the past, present, and future. However, it is worthy to note that the Buddha is no longer physically present on earth. Moreover, it was the Buddha's notable disciples who preserved his noble teachings by compiling them into written word and sharing the teachings with others. As such, Buddhists see the community of noble disciples, or the Sangha, as their spiritual mentors and guides. In short, Buddhist faith is taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, or triple gem as they are collectively referred to, for safety and guidance as we aspire towards our goal of liberation from suffering and sustained joy. To wrap up, human beings have, since beginningless time, sought the truths that lead to freedom from suffering and yields happiness. Such truths inspire an innate sense of faith in them as they provisionally satiate one's seeking. However, not all truths leads one to the quintessential state of sustained happiness and inner peace. The Buddhist understanding of faith is one based on rational investigation and personal verification, inspired by trust in the omniscient Buddha as the teacher, the Dharma as the teachings and the truth, and the Sangha as the harmonious community who serve as our spiritual guides. Thank you for tuning into the Foguangshan English Dharma Services channel. This concludes our session on Buddhist faith. I hope that during these difficult times that you may find peace and harmony within. Amitofo.